Hello and welcome to this presentation. I am one of the librarians here at the university and I'm going to be introducing you to some of the library related services and resources that you can benefit from whilst you are a student here. If you need to contact the library for any reason, our general email is learningservices@uos.ac.uk, or alternatively you can access the website at libguides.uos.ac.uk. As you know, when you're at university, the quality of information that you use is very important. You need to know where to find that information, what to look for, and how to use university appropriate publications. Understanding all of this will make your information searching more efficient and, hopefully, save you time and stress in the long run. By the end of this introduction, you'll be more aware of how to access library services and resources, identify where the information you need might be, how to assess the information that you find, and how to recognise different types of publications. Let's begin with some library basics. Students at your level may borrow up to 20 items at a time, and that can be a combination of standard or short loan items. Standard items can go out for up to 3 weeks, and short loan items for up to 1 week. Some books are for use in the library only and cannot be taken away. If you're not sure, you can check the information on LibGuides, or a member of staff can advise you. In addition, when you visit the library, you may need to borrow a laptop or headphones, and there are also lockers that you can keep your things in. If you have any reasonable adjustments, please let a member of staff know so that we can support you effectively. Most items that you borrow will automatically be renewed. However, if an item is recalled for any reason, for example, if another student reserves a book that you have, then you must return it to the library promptly. If this happens, we will email your university email, so please do check that regularly. If you do not return items to the library and do not let us know why, then your library access may be restricted. If you think that you've lost or damaged an item, please notify us as soon as possible. In certain cases, fines may be charged. Please check LibGuides for up-to-date information. I've mentioned it already a couple of times, but everything you need to know about the library services and resources is at libguides.uos.ac.uk. When you go to that web address, the main service you will see is Discovery. Discovery is the broad name of our library catalogue, and here you can type in your keywords and then see which books, journals, DVDs, etc. are on the library shelves. In addition, Discovery will also give you access to a multitude of online resources such as ebooks, online articles and databases. But I'm going to show you more about Discovery later. When you browse the library catalogue, you are likely to find items that you want. If an item is on the library shelf, you can place a reservation on it and a member of staff will put it aside for you for when you come into the library later. Alternatively, if the item is out on loan, you can place a reservation on it and the item will be recalled. We will contact you when the item is ready. On the other hand, if you find an item that isn't already in our library collection, you may be able to request another library to send it to us for you to use. This is called an interlibrary loan. If that's not practical, then we may be able to buy the item from one of our suppliers for you to borrow. You will see our opening times on the screen, but please always check our opening times on LibGuides, especially if you are planning a special visit. In addition, I think it's worth mentioning that the library is also separated into different zones. So if you need somewhere silent or if you need to talk together as a small group, you should be able to find a suitable place to sit. So next, we're going to think about where you are going to find information that you need. So no doubt you are very familiar with using the open web. And by that I mean commercial search engines such as Google or Bing or whichever you prefer. The web is extremely useful for everyday life, of course, and you can find all sorts of information out there. However, let's just take a moment to consider the advantages and disadvantages of the open web, especially from a student point of view. There's a few advantages listed on the left. For example, although using the open web feels free of charge, in reality that isn't always the case, especially when you encounter endless advertising or paywalls or subscription-only sites. Search engines can be highly intuitive and find information very quickly, although it may not be the information that you want or need. Other disadvantages are that the open web can overload you with information, there's very little quality control, and if your search is unfocused, then your results can be unfocused as well. So there might be some pros and cons of using Discovery as well, but the main advantage is that the information you find on Discovery has been paid for. And what I mean here is that the university has paid for ebooks, books, journals, article databases in advance, so you can access the real quality sources of information that you might not find on Google. You can also be assured that the information will be of an academic or professional standard. The information will have been peer reviewed, so that's the quality control that you need. The only disadvantage that I can think of, though, is that sometimes you might again be presented with too much information. So there is an element of skill needed for you to use Discovery effectively. I'll be able to give you a quick demonstration of this later, but in the future we may be able to look at that in more depth in a future session. Thinking more about where you get information from, let's consider the broad categories of information that you might come across when you search for information. So when you use Google, you're likely to find a mix of different sources. Academic sources, so for example that might be university websites or open access research articles, or you might come across profession sources, and here I mean the website of a professional body or your employer or a local authority or a charity or a government, etc. You'll also come across popular sources of information, and what I mean here is perhaps entertainment or commercial websites or social media. They're probably not going to be level appropriate for your university study. And unfortunately, when using Google, you'll also find a lot of nonsense, just plain wrong, weird or useless information. So obviously you need to avoid these websites at all costs. So what we recommend is, yes, carry on using Google, but also think about how you can improve your information searching by using the library resources. So by using the library as well, you're going to be able to access academic, paid-for, subscription-based information. You will also benefit from some of the profession/academic databases that we pay for, as well as our huge collection of books and ebooks, and also the print and online-based journals and journal articles. And last but not least, the hugest benefit I think of using the library is you've got access to helpful librarians. So next we're going to think about how you can assess the information that you find. Once you've found information, you need to be able to assess how appropriate it is for your needs. And this can apply to websites or articles or books, ebooks, whatever. There are some simple questions you can ask yourself. Who created the information? Who is it published by? Is the creator an expert in their subject area, or are they an amateur? What else have they written about? Are they affiliated with a university or a professional body? What is the information? Is it evidence-based or opinion-based? Is it informative? Is it biased? Or is it trying to persuade you to their ideology? You may need to cross-reference information that you find to verify its claims. When was the information updated? Can you see a date on it? Is there a newer version, a newer edition? Is it out of date? Does the date of publication even matter? So a quick and easy way of trying to work out what kind of website you're looking at is looking at the web address, the URL at the top of the screen. So different types of publishers or institutions might use a different type of web address, a web domain. So for example, a university is very likely to have .ac.uk in its web address, and a government website is very likely to have gov.uk. And conversely, organisations or commercial websites are likely to have some kind of clue in their web address as well. So next we're going to think a little bit about some of the different types of publications that you'll be expected to find when you're looking for information. So we're going to be thinking about journals, we're going to be thinking about grey literature or literature that might have been published by your workplace. We're also going to think about books and ebooks and some of the other databases that you might be able to get access to. So here's an overview of the different types of publications that you're likely to come across as a student. So firstly, I think it's important to recognise there are differences when it comes to journals. So typically, academic journals only feature research articles. On the other hand, professional practice journals may look and feel more like a magazine. There might be a mix of professional practice, maybe some research, maybe some opinion pieces and news and current affairs. And I think of these as the type of publication that you might buy in a newsagent, whilst academic journals are usually paid for by a subscription and they can be very costly. You may also hear about grey literature. So this typically refers to publications that are not available from academic publishers and they may not fall into the category of research. However, they may be extremely relevant and useful and give you a background and context to a topic. Grey literature includes, for example, newsletters, reports, conference publications, in-house resources, and it also, in some circumstances, refers to social media. Now, social media may be used if it has come from an authoritative source. It completely depends on what it is you're trying to research. You will also come across government publications such as legislation, statistics, guidance or white papers, or you may also need to find professional publications, and that covers things such as policies or statistics or guidelines or standards, maybe something from your professional body or your workplace. Also, in some instances, your lecturer may give you some guidance regarding the resources that they want you to find and to use. For example, there may be essential books that you're going to refer to throughout your course, and then your lecturer may also recommend important articles or specific chapters in books that you're going to need to read before your class. You may need to read certain resources to improve your understanding of a topic, or you may need to further your understanding by looking at related or interconnected resources. The lecturer's resource lists will be in your module handbook, but they are also linked from your subject area in LibGuides. So I promised we'd have another look at discovery. So here we are, so libguides.uos.ac.uk. This is what it looks like at the moment. It might look a little bit different by the time you come to access it, but this is where you can do a search to find an overview of some of the resources you can access. So going into the search discovery box, I'm just going to type in my topic, learning theories, and then I'm going to press search, and it's going to give me an overview of the resources I can access. Great, so here we go. What I'm actually going to draw your attention to first is on the left hand side. If you're looking only for books, you can check that box. If you're looking only for articles, you can check that box, etc. And then if you're looking for a particular time period, you can type in the years manually there, or you can just default to the last 5 years. So let's pretend that I am interested in this book here. I'm going to click on there. And here we go. It tells me where the book is. So that's at the main campus. It tells me the shelf where I'm going to find it. So that's the Dewey Decimal Code that you're going to find on the spine of the book. If you need any help looking for resources, just ask a member of staff. It tells me there's 4 copies available, which is good news. If I was in the library, I'd literally go to the shelf and go and find it. But if I was at home, I can just press place reservation, and then a member of staff will put the book aside for me, ready for when I'm next in. In this next example, I'm going to show you that we found an ebook, and I know it's an ebook because it says so there, and it also says view ebook there. So if you click on the prompt, you might need to sign in. Please use your University of Suffolk credentials to do that. And then wait, and then there we go. So this is typically what an ebook looks like. However, we do get our ebooks from different suppliers, so different suppliers have different looks on their ebook page. You've got an option here. You can read online. So please, we prefer students to read online rather than download books, primarily because if you download a book, it stops other students being able to look at it for a while. But that's fine. If you just click read online, you get exactly the same experience. And so yeah, there you go. You get an idea of what the ebook looks like. And you can do things with it. You can get, you can highlight sections, you can make notes, you can bookmark certain pages, you can search for keywords. Most ebooks are really interactive. In this next example, I've found a book that I really like the look of, so I'm just going to click on the title. Now, unfortunately, this book isn't available immediately from the university, so that means it's not on the shelf and it's not available as an ebook. So what I can do is I can request that the library gets the book for me. That could be through an interlibrary loan. So all you need to do is just click on that prompt and fill in your details, and then a member of staff will get back to you when the book is ready. So I mentioned earlier that your lecturer may have a list of reading that they want you to do. So that could be essential reading throughout the course, it could be recommended reading for a particular module or class, or it just could be some further reading that they'd like you to have a look at. These suggestions will be in your module handbook, but also we have a link to these resources on the library website. So if you go to libguides.us.ac.uk, you'll come to the Discovery homepage. But this time what you need to do is scroll down a little bit. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we are having a revamp of the website at the moment, so it might look a little bit different when you get to it. But essentially what you're looking for is something that says reading lists or resource lists and subject guides. If you click on there, Again, you might be prompted to just clarify which campus you're at. So Ipswich is the main campus where you'll be based, and then you need to scroll down to your course. So they're divided by schools, and then each of the courses within the schools, and you are, here we go, teacher training. So if you click on there, these are the reading and resource lists that your lecturer has supplied to the library. So there's lots of links and different suggestions about different types of resources that you can access. So let's just have a quick look. So this is what we're looking for, reading and resource list. But let me show you, there's also some suggested databases and journals that your lecturer might recommend. There's some specific books and ebooks that you might want to have a look at, but also you can book an appointment with your librarian if you need some further support. Let's have a look at the reading and resource lists. So again, this is being updated all the time, so it might not look exactly the same, but you get the idea. So depending on what course you're doing, hopefully it should be listed here. And then also, depending on the different modules that you'll be taking part in, they should be listed there. And again, they're updated all the time. So let's pretend that this is what you're looking at the moment. And then here, scroll down, there are some of the books and ebooks that your lecturer recommends that you look at. So let's just look at this first one, just as an example. So here, this is essential reading, so it's likely that you'll be referring to a book like this throughout the module. If you click on it, again, it takes you back to Discovery, which we've just had a look at on the previous couple of screens. And there we go. So it's telling you what's available, where it is, and then if you want to reserve it, you can. In this next example, I'm going to show you here, this is a link to an ebook. So the same thing applies, just click on the hyperlink, and this time it will take you to the ebook. So again, you can, so this is interesting actually. So here it's telling me there's print books on the shelf, but if they're not available, you can access the ebook instead. So if you click on there, you might need to sign in. So you need to use your university credentials to sign in to access any of the databases or online resources that we've got. So yeah, this is an ebook. Now you'll notice it looks a little bit different to the previous ebook that we looked at because this is from a different supplier. So just take a moment to orientate yourself. So that's the title of the ebook. There's a little synopsis there. Scroll down a little bit more. Here we go. So in this instance, you can again read online. And I'll just remind you, please read online rather than downloading so that other students can access the same resource. If you click on there, there we go. So it looks similar, but a little bit different to the previous example. But again, you can search, you can get an overview of the contents, you can make notes if necessary. Here, you can scroll through, or you can close that if that's getting in the way. And then yep, you can read online quite happily. Then on this final example, we've just gone back to the Discovery homepage, and I just wanted this time to draw your attention to these two options here. So you can click on an A to Z of e-journal. So that's literally all of the e-journals that you can access in alphabetical order. But here you've got an A to Z of databases. So if you click on there, literally, again, we've got an A to Z of all the different databases that might be useful for you. You can search for a particular themed database by typing that in there. So if I was interested in education, here there's a list of suggested databases where I could look for further information. So this has been a bit of a whistle-stop tour through the library resources and services that you can access. You might be wondering what you can do next if you want to find out more. So just to give you some insight, you can get support with advanced searching techniques. You can get support with referencing, so how to do that properly, but also how to manage all the research and references that you're going to be using. So we recommend software where you can centralise all of the data that you've come across. We also work very closely with the academic skills team. But basically, if there's any support that you need from the library, all you need to do is just go to the library website and have a good look around there. Again, that's libguides.uos.ac.uk. I hope you found this presentation useful, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.